How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to 2A News Now. And as always, I appreciate everybody that takes time to watch my videos. 8 Republican senators on Thursday introduced a new bill called the ATF Transparency Act. And basically, if this new bill is passed, it would hold the ATF more accountable. And how this bill would hold the ATF more accountable, it would improve the fairness, speed, and transparency of background checks and application processes of NFA items. And as I mentioned at the starting of the video, there are 8 Republican senators that introduced this bill. And they're being led by U.S. Senator Jim Risch of Idaho, as well as another co-author of the bill, Senator Roger Marshall of Kansas. And the other senators are Mark Crapo of Idaho, Steve Daines and Tim Sheehy of Montana, Cindy Hyde-Smith of Mississippi, James Langford of Oklahoma, Cynthia Loomis of Wyoming. And they just want to ensure that law-abiding gun owners experience a fair and speedy application process when exercising their Second Amendment rights. And one of their complaints is there is no appeal process if somebody fails the NICS background check. If there was a straight-up denial, or in some cases a mistaken identity, or maybe somebody that has the same common name, or misinterpreted criminal records, it would codify the appeals process and would protect law-abiding citizens' background checks from being wrongfully denied, and would require the ATF to process the applications within 3 days. And also it would require the Government Accountability Office and the Department of Justice to report on the number of NFA items involved in unresolved background checks. And they also want the ATF to recommend ways to reduce unresolved checks. And what was the FBI's NICS check involvement? And if the ATF fails to process an application within 3 days, the applications would be automatically approved. And here's partially what Senator Risch had to say in a press release about this legislation. Law-abiding gun owners wrongfully denied their Second Amendment rights should be able to appeal their case through an efficient and transparent process. My ATF Transparency Act is simple. It codifies the current appeals process, holds the ATF to a higher standard, and gives Idaho's lawful gun owners a faster, fair process for firearm applications. And Senator Roger Marshall of Kansas, who I mentioned earlier, is a co-author of the bill, says the measure helps fulfill part of his mission as a U.S. Senator. As a lifelong gun owner and a supporter of the Second Amendment, I came to the Senate with a mission of protecting the sacred constitutional right of all Kansans. The ATF Transparency Act furthers this mission by requiring the ATF develop an appeals process to protect Americans' background checks from being wrongfully denied. This is a common sense step forward to safeguard the Second Amendment. And I'm proud to stand alongside my colleagues in support. And of course, once this bill was announced, it's received a lot of support by pro-gun groups. And a couple of those are Gun Owners of America and the National Rifle Association. And here's what Aiden Johnston had to say about the bill. And he's the Gun Owners of America Director of Federal Affairs. Gun Owners of America is proud to endorse Senator Risch's legislation to eliminate ATF's bureaucratic loopholes in the already unconstitutional National Firearms Act. ATF has deceived Congress and the American public with inaccurate NFA approval estimates for far too long. There is no reason that an NFA approval time should take longer than a normal background check, especially since the ATF has shown they're able to rapidly approve forms after Congress instructed them to. And as we all know, a right delayed is a right denied. I think this is a perfect time to get this bill passed in Congress and get it to President Trump's desk so he can sign it into law. I would like to hear your guys' thoughts about today's video in the comment section. And as always, I appreciate everybody that supports the channel. After every video that I post, you guys are always crushing it by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and hitting those post notifications. And I really do appreciate it. And I invite all of you to come back and watch my next video.